Friends, picture the scene. Donald Trump smilingly says, "I'll buy Tesla," while the company's stock is falling like a ship in trouble on the high seas. It's not a joke, it's a message, a signal the end of an era may have begun with these words. The irony of a billionaire applauding another's downfall has become a symbol of a time that was supposed to be an era of victories. Trump was re-elected against all odds, and with him was Elon Musk, the eccentric genius who promised to reinvent transportation, colonize Mars, and rid the world of oil. It seems like his moment to shine had arrived. Who better than Musk to lead the American manufacturing revolution, especially since he was appointed head of the new Department of Productivity, known as DOGE. But what was supposed to be a union between a futuristic billionaire and a nationalist president quickly turned into a toxic marriage. Just a few weeks later, the markets were starting to come apart at the seams. The stock market crashed, and the name that screamed across the headlines was Tesla. The company's shares fell 15% in a single day, and in 2 months the losses reached 45%, erasing all the gains made since Trump's re-election. Euphoria turned to panic. A symbol of innovation became synonymous with risk, and a brand that had been coveted began to alienate not only investors but also consumers. How did this happen? How did a company that represented the future become the scapegoat of a trade war? And what does this say about Musk himself, the man who had been the symbol of the new for so long? The answer lies in the conflict caused by Trump's tariffs. In his second term, Trump has radicalized his America First policy, doubling tariffs on Chinese goods, imposing unprecedented duties on Canada and Mexico, and making daily threats to trade allies on Twitter. His goal was to protect American industry, but the side effect has been devastating, a global trade war with profound implications for technology. Enter Tesla, a symbol of cutting-edge technology and global markets. By backing the Trump administration, Musk was taking on a huge political risk. While Trump was shaking his hand in Washington, former customers, engineers, and parents, people who once considered Musk a hero but now saw him as an accomplice to an authoritarian government, were protesting outside Tesla stores in California. The numbers don't lie. Tesla customer loyalty in Democratic states fell from 72 to 65%, with little gain in Republican states. Tesla was losing support from both sides. But it wasn't just ideology. The market was worried about Musk's political role. Investors expected him to be an informal advisor, but instead, he became a central figure in the government, appearing at press conferences, announcing budget cuts, and making controversial decisions. Who's really in charge? Analysts asked. The fear that Musk was more concerned with power than profit quickly became reality. Tesla sales began to fall. By 50% in China, by 16% in the US and in Europe, consumers were switching to local brands. Competitors like Volkswagen, BYD, and Hyundai were accelerating, while Tesla was stalling. Promises were repeated, deadlines were missed, and Musk became increasingly distant. What happened to Elon Musk, who charmed the world by launching rockets and memes with equal ease? Some say he has lost himself, others that he has been consumed by politics. But one thing is clear, Musk's brilliance no longer blinds, and for Tesla, it is costing him dearly. Trump's "I'll buy a Tesla" statement sounded like a mockery, a desperate attempt to protect an ally who was losing ground. But is it possible to turn things around? Can Tesla be reborn in the storm, or is it destined to become the first big casualty of Trump's trade war? And is Musk ready to save his company, or is he already looking the other way? Tesla's collapse is more than just corporate drama. It's a reflection of a world in turmoil, where technology, politics, and ego collide at breakneck speed. The future is no longer guaranteed. It's become an arena of struggle and, in some cases, loss. Monday morning began as usual. People commuting, spilling coffee, ignoring notifications. But by midday, the financial heart of the world had gone crazy. American stock indexes had collapsed. The Dow Jones had lost 890 points. The S&P 500 had lost 2.7%, and the Nasdaq, the symbol of American tech pride, had fallen 4%, its biggest drop since September 2022. The headlines screamed, "US stocks panic over new round of Trump tariffs, tech giants are bleeding, Tesla among the hardest hit." To those outside Wall Street, it may seem like drama, but the impact was immediate and personal. Take Luciana, a 42-year-old from Austin, Texas. 3 years ago, she invested part of her savings in Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, and Tesla. At first, everything was magical. The stocks were rising, the charts were pleasing. But that morning, she woke up to find that 40% of her savings had evaporated. It was like someone had opened a drain in my investment app, she said, and she was not alone. The market had lost billions, pension funds and family savings were derailed. It was not just a technical glitch, but a crisis of confidence, the worst of all. What caused the collapse? At a press conference, Trump, answering a question about the risk of a recession, said, "We are in a transition period, and what we are doing is so great that it will probably be accompanied by a recession." For investors, this sounded like an invitation to disaster. Analysts noted, the president not only did not rule out a recession, he practically invited it to dinner. The market fears uncertainty, and Trump served it up in industrial doses. Companies began to freeze hiring, small businesses felt the blow, bond yields fell, people fled to safe assets. At the center of the spiral is technology. The Magnificent Seven, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet, Nvidia, and Tesla, were losing ground. Tesla, a symbol of innovation, became a target. By supporting Trump, Musk turned the brand into a battlefield, and the market, which does not tolerate ideological wars, retreated. Tesla has lost almost half its market value since Trump's inauguration, and, symbolically, trust. And when a company loses trust, everything becomes suspicious. The promise of autonomous cars is in doubt. The leadership in the electric car market is threatened by European and Chinese competitors. Videos of Cybertrucks with police escorts and customers scratching Teslas went viral on social media. It felt like the end of an era. But what if this storm is the beginning of a new era, one that's tougher and more cynical? What if the economic transition Trump spoke of is the collapse of a model that can no longer hold the country together? Are we witnessing the end of Wall Street as we know it, and the next decade will be defined not by growth, but by survival? In that scenario, who will lead? We don't know. But we are living in the writing of a new script, one that will be shaped by every decision in the face of uncertainty. And what if the biggest threat to Tesla is Elon Musk himself? For years, he was the archetype of the kindly billionaire, a Tony Stark without a suit but with rockets. He talked about Mars and brain implants, joked about cryptocurrency, and moved markets. But with Trump's re-election and his entry into government as the head of the Department of Productivity, Musk has become a political actor. By associating his name and company with the Trump administration, he not only polarized customers, he created enemies on both sides. The protests began modestly. Posters outside Tesla stores, angry tweets, the hashtag number boycott Tesla. But soon stores were covered in graffiti, and in Loveland, Colorado, a protester planned to attack a car dealership. Tesla, a symbol of green technology, had become the personification of an authoritarian regime. Musk was also losing ground in the corporate world. Investors doubted his ability to manage. Analysts warned that he was stretching himself too thin between projects: Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, XAI. How many fronts can one man lead before everything collapses? Tesla is paying the price: falling sales, protests, boycotts. In Democratic states, loyalty has fallen by 7%. In Republican states, growth is negligible. 32% of Americans are not considering buying Tesla. Musk, busy with politics, publishes memes, and competitors are advancing. Wolfsburg is growing in Europe, BYD is dominating in China, Ford is restoring its reputation in the US. Musk is on stage, but not every stage is a round of applause. Perhaps his mistake is believing that he can lead a political revolution without sacrificing what he has built. What if Tesla is a thing of the past for him? This is a dangerous moment. Companies can be restored, but trust, like broken glass, cannot be mended. Imagine walking into a Tesla store you've admired for years. The window is shining, but all that remains is a modest discount on the windshield. Many former fans describe their experience as excitement giving way to wariness. In China, sales have fallen by 50%, in the US by 16%, and in Europe, Tesla is falling while the electric car market is growing by 34%. How can you explain the shrinking symbol of electric cars? Analysts blame competition and tariffs, but perhaps people are simply fed up with Elon Musk. He promised too much, delivered too little, and became a politician. Trust is gone, taking away the value of the brand. Musk promised autonomous cars by 2020, robo-taxis by 2022, but the reality is delays and accidents. Does he care about Tesla? He's torn between 5 companies, publishing political memes, quarreling with journalists. Analysts predict a crash. The stock is down 45% from its peak. 96% of the post-election gains have evaporated. Investors believe in innovation, but with each unfulfilled promise, patience runs out. Cybertrucks are booed at parades, videos of Teslas being scratched appear on social media. The brand is losing love, and in a market fueled by admiration, this is fatal. Many of Tesla's early customers, environmentalists, progressives, see Musk as a traitor. Having become the face of an authoritarian government, he has become the opposite of what he symbolized. This cannot be solved. With new models, reconciliation is needed, but we see a detached Musk and a lost Tesla stuck between technology and politics. It all started with steel, then aluminum, cars, microchips, Canadian lumber, cheese. But this wasn't just a trade war, it was a war disguised as domestic politics, with Tesla at the center as bait. Trump doubled tariffs on Chinese imports, imposed duties on Mexico and Canada. Tesla factories, dependent on Chinese components, became more expensive, partnerships with Mexico were suspended, and the conflict with Canada created uncertainty. Canada responded by freezing incentives for American companies, including Tesla. China encouraged the transition to local brands by delaying Tesla deliveries. Tesla became a hostage. While Musk defended policy in Washington, competitors launched autonomous cars. Tesla is not just a company, but a symbol of conflict. In Brussels, they are discussing a revision of incentives for American electric cars. In Mexico, they are threatening boycotts. In Canada, incentives for non-American cars. Tesla has become a mirror of the policy that the world does not want to see. Shares are falling, consumers are switching from Tesla to Hyundai and Peugeot. Musk underestimated how much the brand depended on admiration, not technology. Trump's trade war had many targets, but no one expected the main blow to fall on the one closest to the throne. The main threat to Tesla is Musk himself. He is not a typical CEO. He does not follow scripts, does not listen to advice. To fans, this is genius. To critics, recklessness. He is Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, XAI, X, the architect of the revolution, but no one can carry the world on their shoulders. In 2022, Musk was a pop star. Everything he touched turned to gold. But the purchase of Twitter resulted in scandals, Neuralink, delays. Tesla suffers from Musk fatigue. He misses announcements, delegates' decisions, competitors develop strategies, and Musk is busy with memes and politics. Tesla pays the price, falling sales, protests, boycotts. Musk has become a traveling show, and Tesla is a decoration. Tesla's collapse is not just financial, but emotional, narrative, and spiritual. Along with it, the idea that the future can be bought, that technology will save the world, collapses. Musk is neither a villain nor a savior, but a symbol of vanity, speed, and distraction. We believed because it was easier, but the future is not a highway, but a land that must be built together. The question is, will we look for a new hero, or will we look at ourselves for the first time?